Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Dillian Whyte has once again called for Deontay Wilder, called for that fight to happen. Got to quote him here directly what he said on Sky News. I'm just going to try to keep this as short and sweet as I can, because I actually want to talk about this potential fight. I say potential because it's God knows if it had happened or not. But I also want to talk in a separate video about Deontay Wilder, because he's been quiet again lately, and I kind of want to know what's going on with him in terms of him fighting again. So wait for that video. It's probably going to go up after this, but wait for that. I'm going to quote Dillian Whyte, what he said here. This is what he told Sky News. He says, "I'll fight Deontay Wilder in Alabama if that's what's going to make him feel secure and safe enough to take the fight. He can have the home judges in his hometown. I'd even fight him in his own home. I just want to get hold of him and hurt him." So that's what Dillian Whyte is saying. So he doesn't really care if the fight's in Alabama, if it's in Timbuktu, if it's in Deontay Wilder's own home. As he says there, he wants to get hold of him and he wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Now, there's always been a lot of animosity on Dillian Whyte's part towards Deontay Wilder. That's stemming from a while back. You know, I remember when Wilder beat Brazil, or not Brazil, it was when he beat Stavern in the rematch. And I think it was Instagram messages Dillian Whyte shared where he basically said, "I'm going to make you wait for 2 years before you get your title shot," or words to that effect. Dillian Whyte was number 1 ranked at the time. He wasn't mandatory challenger. He only became mandatory challenger in 2019 when he beat Oscar Rivas. But Dillian Whyte he wanted the WBC route. You know, that was the route he wanted to go down. Obviously, he could have had a world title shot against Anthony Joshua in 2019. He didn't take that fight. The WBC is always the road he wanted to go down. He's always wanted that Deontay Wilder fight from as far back as 2017. You know, it just, that's what he wants to do. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of animosity on Dillian Whyte's part towards Wilder, because he probably feels as though Wilder's been, you know, just taking him around the block, you know, etc., etc. But that's a fight he wants. He's always said he wants that fight. Deontay Wilder he's never really expressed much interest in it. He's always said, you know, I don't chase Dillian Whyte, he chases me, words to that effect, etc., etc. That's a fight I'd like to see. You know, whether we see Deontay Wilder in the ring again, I don't know. It remains to be seen. We don't know what way his head's at. We don't know what he's going to be if he comes back. But in all honesty, if there is even 60% of Deontay Wilder that was there pre-Fury rematch, I'd comfortably pick him over Dillian Whyte. People have always looked at Deontay Wilder and said the reason why he didn't want to fight Dillian Whyte was shown in the Fury rematch, because Dillian Whyte would fight a similar style to Fury. He would, you know, come forward with the jab, he'd apply pressure, he'd be able to get left hooks off on Deontay Wilder, and a lot of people feel as though Dillian Whyte stylistically would, you know, go through Deontay Wilder, you know, looking at what Fury did. And I always felt the polar opposite. I always felt that if you look at it stylistically, Dillian Whyte would play into Deontay Wilder's strengths. Yes, Deontay Wilder struggled with Tyson Fury. Fury's a much more sophisticated fighter than Dillian Whyte. He's much quicker on his feet. He's got much better defense. He's got much better boxing fundamentals. Dillian Whyte's boxing fundamentals aren't bad, but he's not up there with the likes of Tyson Fury, right? So whilst Dillian Whyte could put a similar game plan into action, I've no doubt that he could, would he be as effective? Would he be able to get out of the way as quick as Tyson Fury was? You know, would he be able to ride the shots as well as Tyson Fury did? Would his head movement be as good as Tyson Fury is? No. And I always felt that Deontay Wilder, if he used his own jab against Dillian Whyte, I was able to walk Dillian Whyte onto even a grazing right hand, he'd have Dillian Whyte in all sorts of bother. Even now, even if we don't have the same Deontay Wilder as we did in 2019, even if this is a 40% removed Deontay Wilder from what he was back then, to me that's still enough to beat Dillian Whyte, especially coming off the back of the Povetkin knockout. I know he beat Povetkin in the rematch, right, and he did it convincingly, but he never took a solid shot. That was the worst I've ever seen Povetkin in the ring, and I thought it was harder to get worse than what I saw in August, but believe you me, he proved it in Gibraltar. He was never tested, his chin was never tested. If Deontay Wilder lands a grazing shot on Dillian Whyte's chin, he is going to be in all sorts of trouble. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Deontay Wilder, although he's getting a bit up there in age, and you would imagine that some of the athleticism is going to wane now, because he's going on 36. He's got to be. he's got to be going on the wrong side of 30. So you'd imagine some of that speed unless it is going to dwindle a bit now, especially now at this stage. But even still, you would imagine that Deontay Wilder at this stage, stylistically, everything would be able to find Dillian Whyte, even if it's not with full power, even if it's just semi-hard. But Deontay Wilder is such a tremendous puncher, he wouldn't need to land with full power to have Dillian Whyte in all sorts of bother. And I think that if Deontay Wilder does fight, and say he comes and he does to say, right, I'll fight Dillian Whyte next, having a win over someone like Dillian Whyte, that could do wonders for him in terms of getting him back to where he needs to be mentally. Because I genuinely believe that if we do see Deontay Wilder in the ring again, even if it's against Charles Martin or someone like that, someone a kind of bit more low level, you're going to see some fragilities there. There has to be a bit of residual damage from the Fury fight, given how devastating it was. There has to have been. So you'd probably see Deontay Wilder maybe fighting within himself a bit, maybe not being quite what we're used to. But if he went in there against Dillian Whyte per se and was able to beat Dillian Whyte, you would see that probably do so much good for him in terms of getting him back to kind of where he needs to be in terms of confidence, in terms of his just mentality that, you know, that was then, this is now. That's what I think would happen. Now, as I said, whether we see this fight or not, I don't know. Dillian Whyte, judging by what he's saying there, he wants this fight more than anything. Right, almost probably not more than anything. Probably not as much as he wants a world title shot. But if he can't get that, then he wants this fight with Deontay Wilder. I really like the fight. I think the build-up would be fantastic. I think the fight, you're guaranteeing a knockout in that fight. I'm telling you that's not going to points if it happens. That's a knockout. All right, that's a good fight. Style-wise, I said I think Dillian Whyte plays more into Wilder's strengths. But it's still an interesting fight. And it's a few unknowns as well. How is Whyte's chin going to hold up to even a semi-decent shot from Deontay Wilder? How is Deontay Wilder going to be in terms of his mental fragility? You know, it's a good fight. It's a hell of a lot of questions. It's a very good fight. I would love it. If we saw that this summer or this autumn, I would be so happy. You know, I think that would be a great fight. Do I think we will? That's another story. At the end of the day, everyone has a price. I wonder if enough figures are put there for Deontay Wilder. Would he go? Would his team say, do you know what? And would his team look at that and think, do you know what, that's a winnable fight. We're getting good money, that's a winnable fight. Yeah, we'll put our boy in there. You know, would they do that? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you disagree? Do you think that actually looking at Dillian Whyte, stylistically, Deontay Wilder would play to Dillian Whyte's strengths? Do you think that Dillian Whyte has dusted off the Povetkin knockout defeat, nobody's beating him in the rematch, and that he can go on and, you know, go through Deontay Wilder basically? I don't think so, because I think that punch resistance is going to take a hit. We just need to see his chin get sufficiently tested, and it was never tested in the Povetkin fight. That was the worst I've ever seen Povetkin look. So let me know in the comment section. I said I didn't want to keep this video long, and I think I've gone about, I wanted to keep it like 5 minutes, but I've gone way over that, I think. Now I don't know how long I've gone, but it's over that. But look, you get a longer video, so it's not too bad. Lads and lasses, I'm going to leave it there. Smash the like button on the way in or on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, of course, if you're new to the channel. We're getting there. We're just 100 and something, 140 something subs off 4K. Let's get there. Let's get there by the end of the month. Fingers crossed we can do that. For now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you. Peace.